Now, I've been a reviewer for years. We're professionals. Our job is to take that week and do all of our testing and take all of our findings and find all the things we like and all the things we don't like and all the new features, test all of the new claims, and distill them all down into one piece. And that is a review. And if you time it all right, you can publish that review right when the contract we signed says we're allowed to. You might have heard of this. It's called an embargo. So that's what you're seeing. You see all this first wave of reviews and impression videos about a product drop at the same time. The thing is, every single one of these reviews is fundamentally a balancing act because there's limited time. There's no possible way to meaningfully test every single new thing about every incredible new phone that comes out. And even if you do, how much time does that leave for writing down all these tests and then analyzing the results of these tests? And that doesn't even leave time for the production of shooting the video, of editing the video, color correction, the music, all the creative choices you want to make. There's just too much. Being a video reviewer on YouTube today is like 9 different jobs in one. So, how do you decide what gets included in that review? And how much has to hit the cutting room floor? So every review has its own style. Some reviews you'll see are 5 minutes long, super dense. Some might be 10 minutes long. Even my own videos, reviews over the years have gotten somewhere in the 15 to 20 minute range. But that's in an effort to give you as much information as possible in as short a time as possible. I'm not trying to waste anybody's time. And don't forget, on YouTube, we also have audience metrics and retention to think about. It's a balancing act. So a review is basically the art of compressing and distilling as much useful information as possible into one piece. But because it's an art, everyone's going to cut different things from different places and make different pieces. But not this video. This video, there is no time limit. This is everything you can possibly want to know about my last 5 months with the iPhone 12 Pro. What I really think.
Alright, well, I suppose we might as well get I don't really have anything for you. Well, I guess there's all that Saint Denis mail still need delivering. Honest work, but don't hold it against me. Can you handle that?
Our cloud solutions are intentionally designed for a positive impact on your business and the world. Learn how you can meet your sustainability goals.
Authority, Khan has brought a business-like efficiency to the role, scrapping expensive vanity projects like the Garden Bridge and the new Routemaster buses, which cost £350,000 each. The former lawyer who used to fight the police in court is now praised for his close relationship with them.
I was talking to a very senior police officer in the sea change when City Hall, and the police were saying how much they welcomed it in their new works, and it was more straightforward. Works like a lawyer, he works like a government minister.
Khan's kept his faith at the fore. He's an outspoken moderate across the world.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
Now, by giving the impression that Islam and the West are the claims that man is Jews.
The ongoing spat between Khan and US President Donald Trump escalated when Trump went after Khan, is quoting him on Twitter just hours after.
Hi, I'm Beryl, and the theme of this week's episode is toast. And if you feel like you're having deja vu, toast. It's because this is part 3. A couple of things before we get into the video. It's March, so we picked a new book for a book club. We are reading They Called Us Enemy by George Takei. It is about his experience in the Japanese internment camps in the United States. I picked it because I thought that it was fitting in response to the rise in Asian hate crimes in the U.S. I will leave a link to the book below if you want to join the book club or if you just want to read it. I think that this is a great graphic novel, very interesting, very good. Also, the artist behind me, this is Ben. They go by the name of Ben. They are a comic book artist, and I think that you could probably understand why I was so drawn to their work. I just think it's absolutely fabulous. I'm leaving links to everything, and always, the links to recipes, even my earrings, it's always in the description, so you can always just look right down here for all of that fun stuff. So, the toasts today are from Vietnam, Malta, the USA, the Netherlands, and the UAE. So with that, let's get toasted. Toasty. Let's go.
Hi, my name is Vanessa and I live in Los Angeles, America. My favorite way to have toast is Vietnamese shrimp toast. This is a Vietnamese street food that's commonly found in coastal towns where they catch the shrimp fresh every single day and use it as soon as they catch it. For a lot of Vietnamese Americans, we make this at home. My grandma used to make this toast for my mom all the time when she was younger. Now, whenever I get to visit her, she makes it for me as well. It's such a great little afternoon snack that we can eat as we spend time together whenever I visit. It's a piece of French baguette that's sliced and dunked into batter, with some shrimp and onions on top and deep fried bowl. This is optional, but you can dip it into some oyster sauce and sriracha if you would like. Personally, I like it plain. The salt and pepper from the marinade is just right. I love this toast recipe because it's decadent, super crunchy, and perfect for an afternoon snack.
Okay. First toast is this Vietnamese shrimp toast. I hope I did this right. It looks good because it's fried. Yeah, it's good. I was worried that my shrimp wouldn't be cooked, which is kind of silly because shrimp cook if you like stare at them too long, you know? The batter is good. So in Vanessa's recipe, she was saying that you can use the shells of the shrimp, which is really common in Vietnam. The shrimp that I bought already have their shells removed. I kept the shrimp tails on. It's interesting, in the US, I think people don't really eat the shells that often, but they're just like really crunchy. And if you haven't tried the shrimp shell. Say that back fast. If you haven't tried the shrimp shell, if you haven't tried a shrimp shell, I highly recommend you do it. They're just really crunchy and it's a great texture. The batter is like a little bit sweet, maybe? Or maybe that's coming from the onion? Oh. Where's it coming from? I only made 2. I wish I had more. That was a fabulous start. Let's have more toast.
Hi there, hi everyone. My name is Noah and I live in this small country. My favorite toast recipe is a family recipe based on traditional Maltese sandwich recipe. Oh my gosh! Sandwich recipe called Portuguese meat. This dish was taught to me by my mother. Everyone first spread some tomato concentrate on a slice of bread, then drizzle olive oil and sprinkle salt and pepper. Top the slice of bread with any combination of toppings such as olives, capers, and 2 tomatoes, and then cover with grated or sliced cheddar cheese. Look out! After topping the bread, put the toast in the oven and cook until the cheddar is golden and getting sour brown. The recipe is super safe, especially with the warm and provided by tomato concentrate. The use of melted cheese also makes the toast very comforting and perfect as a simple snack.
I feel like this is the most beautiful tuna melt that I've ever seen in my entire life. Aww. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. Like, it's beautiful. I have never used tomato paste as a spread before. Genius. This is also kind of giving me that Jordanian toast that we did in the last episode vibe, but that idea of like a bruschetta type of toast, like, oh my goodness, this is freaking good. If I see that a recipe has capers and Kalamata olives, I know that I'm in for a treat. I love the saltiness, and the saltiness from those are like the best. And I just, pairing it with tuna is just the wisest thing you could do. The tomato paste is really what I love about this, though. It's got so much flavor, and you have the juiciness from the tomatoes, but the tomato paste, it's like a punch, like a really good punch, the type of punch you want. You want to be punched with tomatoes. It's a beautifully constructed toast. Luca, your mother, cheers to her. Come here, last piece. Get on here. This was an 11 out of 10.
Hi, my name is Erin, and I live in Birmingham, Alabama. One of my favorite ways to have toast is called milk toast. It is a very obscure, very old recipe that usually is made for people who are very old or very young or sick or sad. It's a very obscure recipe that I first found out about when I was reading an MFK Fisher book. The Art of Eating is an anthology of hers that's made up of her 5 best-known writings, and this particular recipe is in the last one, which is called An Alphabet for Gourmets. To make it, you toast some bread, and then you butter your toast. You can sprinkle a little sugar on it, or you can sprinkle it with salt and pepper, and then you warm up some milk, and you can put a little bit of butter in the milk if you want some extra richness, and then you can either put sugar or salt and pepper. And sometimes when I make it, I will break up the toast and pour the milk over it in a bowl, but usually I like to dip the toast into the warm milk. And when I first read it, I was so intrigued by it, and I absolutely had to try it and loved it. It's a really rare recipe that is essentially almost dead. It's one of those recipes that we've kind of lost to time, and it's a taste that maybe takes a little bit getting used to on the first bite, but especially if you're feeling a little ill or you're a little bit sad, it can really set you back to where you need to be. Zero rights. Charging extra for Apple CarPlay is not in my lane. To get Apple CarPlay in a Honda CR-V can cost a lot more, and a RAV4 is standard. Get with it, RAV4. Toyota, let's go places.
Okay, we've got milk toast, which I think at first glance seems a bit interesting. I am using oat milk because my body doesn't love milk. Well, this is 10 times better than I expected. Aaron kept saying that it was a very comforting dish, and I think that tasting this now, I totally understand that. There's something very, nurturing about this. And I don't often eat warm milk, and I don't really recall as a child getting warm milk, but I like this. I also like the salt and pepper on the toast. I never put salt and pepper on toast. And it's really good. It's not, Aaron's right, Aaron's right though, the milk doesn't make the bread soggy. It's just like a quick dunk, you know? Not like letting it linger. So I didn't know who Emma P. Fisher was before Aaron brought her up, and I had a look at who she was. She's an incredibly interesting American food writer who was born in actually 1908. She said that eating was one of the fine arts of living, and I really appreciate that. And I feel like that sentiment is totally on brand with this channel, so I'm very excited to read more of her stuff and look at other things that she's written. I believe she's written 27 books. There's a lot to take there. This would be really great at like 11 p.m. after I ate my dinner and maybe after I had my dessert, but I'm watching something and I want one more snack. Like, that's when I want this.
Hi, my name is Rochelle and I live in Victoria, British Columbia in Canada. Growing up, being half Dutch, one of my favorite breakfasts was hagelslag, which consists of a slice of any toasted bread that you'd like, butter, and the hagelslag or toast sprinkles. Hagelslag directly translates to hailstorm and was first invented in 1919 by the director of Venco, best known for licorice in the Netherlands, hence why hagelslag was first aniseed flavored. It is said that a hailstorm inspired the creation of hagelslag, although I always thought the name came from the sound the sprinkles make as they hit the toast. Today, hagelslag comes in all sorts of flavors such as aniseed, fruit, and chocolate. I love to have hagelslag with a cup of coffee to help balance out the sweetness of the milk chocolate.
Okay, we have hagelslag from the Netherlands, which is kind of reminding me of roti bandung from Indonesia, where like maybe you just kind of gave up halfway through because you were so hungry. So you were like, yeah, the sprinkles is great. We'll just go with that. Chocolate bread, you know? It's good. I feel like there's just chocolate now. All in my teeth. I don't think that you really can go wrong with chocolate. The nice thing about this is I feel like a lot of people have sprinkles in their house because one time they wanted to have an ice cream sundae, so they bought sprinkles, but you could only buy sprinkles in the big box, and so now you have a ton of sprinkles, and you're like, what am I going to do with all these sprinkles? You're going to make toast. That's what you should be doing. What I find more interesting about this is that it started with licorice flavor, and that does not seem my cup of tea. When we were talking about food they don't like, black licorice is very, very high up on that list. I really don't think that there is anything I can do to black licorice to make me like it. Truly. Truly. So the idea of having black licorice on toast is absolutely not up my alley. But I feel not alone because obviously enough people agreed and like the whole country shifted in essence to chocolate. I like the storyline about the sounds of the sprinkles falling were like thunder. They sound like thunder. It sounded cute. It sounded like a fairy footstep. It's chocolatey, it's got crunch, like the sprinkles are crunchy, and the bread is soft, and it kind of like melts a little bit with the warmth of the toast, so it's good.
Hi, I'm Dana. I'm half Iraqi, half Kuwaiti, and I live in the UAE. I'm going to tell you about a very traditional Iraqi dish named rashiu dibis. It's a very common food eaten in Iraq for breakfast or for a snack. First, you need rashi, which is basically tahina or tahini. Add a big dollop of that into a bowl, and then you need your dibis. Dibis is basically date syrup or date molasses. So it's a very thick, dark paste made of dates. You need a big dollop of that as well. Then you need to just mix them both together. And normally you would have this with Iraqi samoon, which is a type of bread. But if you can't get Iraqi samoon, you can also eat this with pita bread, or you could also eat this with toast. A lot of people don't know, but Iraq was actually the biggest producer of dates in the world in the 20th century. Unfortunately, that's not the case anymore, but there's still a big culture of dates, and we have it in so many different ways. That's what you do. You dip it into the rashiu dibis, and you take a big bite. It's delicious. And the way of saying this is so delicious in Iraqi is kullish tayyib. So you can say that once you try this, and you will love it.
Okay, final toast. This is really interesting because I have never thought about tahini in like a dip sense. Like it's always been something that I mix in to make a dressing or some sort of marinade. So, oh, cool. Ooh. Ooh. Savory. And sweet. I want to look at the dates are. Okay. Well, it's not telling me much other than that it's made out of dates. A very surprising combo that I've never had. And I've never had anything like this. And I do like it. Anyway. I love finding new uses for ingredients that I have already. This was actually an idea that somebody brought up in our Discord to take one ingredient and show, like 3 or 5 different recipes to use with it, because sometimes you buy one ingredient for one dish and then you're like, now what? And now you've got, this jar of cuttlefishing in your refrigerator and you still don't know what to do with it, so it's just sitting there and mocking you, and I don't know, maybe that's something to do. This was another fabulous toast episode. I tried so many amazing things, delicious things, and as always, I'm going to say it again, recipes and links to everything are going to be in the description, and yes, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Please buy only at Old Navy and OldNavy.com.
I have an idea. Let's skip all of research, all of talking to people, all the deconstructing, taking measurements, and this is a real thing. I have an idea. Let's skip all that front matter, and I just try it and then see if I nail it. It's the fastest episode I've ever done. I just think I know how to do this. It's pretty Hey everyone, I'm Claire. I'm in the BA Test Kitchen, and today I'm making gourmet ruffles. I think potato chips are truly one of the most satisfying foods in the world, ever. But ruffles I find particularly appealing. Ruffles potato chips are a ridged potato chip, wavy pattern. Ruffles have ridges, as the catchphrase says. They're just extremely crisp and very light also. Just all that texture from the ridges and the crispiness, these are extremely satisfying. Also, Gabby told me that this is her secret favorite snack in the whole world, so I want Gabby to come try them with me. Gabriella! I just got a smell from the bag. Crack, they have crack. That's what it is. It's like crack for your brain. I think crack is crack for your brain. Yeah. So this is sour cream and onion. Yeah, we will. Oh yeah. Not so wrong. I know you're gonna nail this so well. Gabby. I know. All dressed flavor. Number 1 flavor in Canada? What does all dressed mean? Salty things at the same time. Oh my god, they smell amazing. Oh. Vinegar. It's like vinegar barbecue. Yeah, they're so good. Oh, this might be the greatest potato chip I've ever had. I'm sorry, I lived in Canada for 1 year. How did I not open this? I didn't really go out much. Very cold. I feel ill right now from eating it. They're so good. This is seriously the best thing I've ever eaten. They're so good. Double crunch? What does that mean? They already made a gourmet. Wow, zesty cheddar. So cool. What's my favorite flavor? I think the cheese flavor is so overwhelming. I don't feel great now. I just ate a lot of potato chips. It's a very short period of time. They're so good. When you're going through thinking to yourself, how is the ruffle not a Pringles? Or how is it?
I think that's an interesting question because Pringle was a potato crisp, not a potato chip, so it was like potato composite. This I think is actual potato.
I meant to believe this is a slice of potato.
I believe you are.
What's the point of that sauce?
I think original or sour cream and onion.
Sour cream and onion is really good.
So we could do what I did for, at least for flavoring, what I did for Pringles, like make the base chip, then have the different powder coating. I'd love to attempt this somehow. It can't be that hard. It's like powder distilled white vinegar plus chili powder plus sugar, you know, to get that barbecue flavor.
Right.
I think the smartest thing, I just want to focus on getting, in this case, 100% of this challenge is, 95% of this challenge is texture. So I want to focus first and foremost on achieving a crispy, light chip, you know, fairly golden, not brown. And then once I achieve that, I can think about flavoring them because the flavoring happens after they're cooked. I think this one's cut and dried. We might have something before the end of the day, and by the way, it's 3 p.m. I'm trying it as a new strategy. Radical confidence. See what happens. There's no point measuring individual chips because they're all different sizes, but it indicates that they're all sliced from different sized potatoes, so they're actually made from potatoes, I think. Although in general, this feels like maybe a good average size. It's a little tiny bit brown around the edge, but in general, it's a very uniform, kind of yellowish color. I just want to measure the ridges. What was that thing in school where you had, like, measuring wavelengths? You know, and it was like, this is the wavelength, like the length of the wave, right? And then this just, there's a word for what this is. So this is the wavelength. This is the crest. This is the amplitude. There we go. That's the word. This is the crest. This is the trough. This is the wavelength. I can't believe how much more makes me think about my high school science classes. One wavelength is 4 centimeters. 4 millimeters. The amplitude is 1 centimeter, 8 millimeter. The whole chip is really, absurdly thin. Think about it. The Morse ruler. It's really only like a millimeter thick. So it's just extremely thin. So because it puffs in the oil. So if it's 1 millimeter thick after frying, it has to be even less than that before it goes into the oil. It's going to be very hard, not only to get it that thin, but to get it even, to have the ridges be even all the way across. I need like a laser cut too. Do they have that? Give me a laser. Oh yeah, my favorite part. Reading the ingredients. This is a real different ingredient list than like Hot Pockets. Potatoes, vegetable oil, sunflower, corn, and oil, clothes prints, and salt. I agree. I appreciate the purity of the product. I love this. Probably makes more and more with every minute. So read that one. To be clear, that was the ingredient list for original Ruffles. This is the two garnis. Ingredients here are potatoes, vegetable oil, sunflower, corn, and oil, all dressed seasoning, recipe, maltodextrin, corn, sugar, sodium, diacetate, salt, dextrose. Cerulite, monosodium glutamate is sodium acid, garlic powder, onion powder, sunflower oil, malic acid, extract acid flavor. Tell better on this before. Particularly put off by sodium diacetate and also cerulite, which I've never heard of. But the point is, at their base level, Ruffles are potato salt. Feel good about that. Time to go over to the computer, do some research. Ruffle potato chips. The product is named as an analogy to the ruffle, a strip of fabric and gathered, creating folds. Thanks for that really helpful definition of what a ruffle is. Let's look up all dressed. Potato chip flavor popular in Canada. The flavor combines potato chip flavors of barbecue, ketchup, sour cream and onion, and salt, vinegar. What a great idea. Brilliant. How really makes potato chips feel like a jackpot. Wow. 150 million pounds a year. That's so many potatoes. Okay, so we saw that. A lot here, but I don't see anything. So this is a how it's made video. Okay, so that's another important point. The reason why potato chips out of a bag are not brown is because all of the starch is washed off. It's the sugars and starches that start to brown in the oil when they're fried. So in every case, that we've seen of a video in a factory, the potatoes are washed, so all the starches are rinsed off the surface, and that's why they fry very pale and they don't get really brown. There's not. I don't think there's a really complicated code to crack here, like making potato chips, which is great. Whatever, crunching change for gourmet make. What I'm really interested in is getting our hands on a crinkle slicer, and I think the biggest challenge will be to get even slices that are the thickness that I want. Stay very, very thin. The videos that we watched confirmed what I kind of knew going in, which is that there's just a few steps when it comes to making potato chips. Basically, it's slicing, rinsing, cooking, /frying. And then, so in potato land, there's two main types of potatoes. There's waxy potatoes and starchy potatoes. These are Yukon Golds, a waxy variety, and then Idaho or Russets, a starchy variety. The waxier ones tend to be like a little slicker and have it's really, it went all the way under. Where did it go? Oh wait, I can get it. I'm afraid to reach my hand up again. I got it. Ooh, who knows what's been up that oven. Alright, I gotta get rid of this. It's amazing. Standing here holding a potato. So I'll probably do some side by side while we're waiting for the slicer. I'm just gonna peel one of each and get it in some water. Potato browns very quickly when you peel it. If you hold it in water, it stops the browning process. And maybe I'll get some oil going on the stove and bring it up to temp. This is just vegetable oil. Potatoes are peeled. Oil is almost at 360. Gabby has our much needed tool. Very exciting, thank you. So this is actually a mandolin. This thing is a lot of moving parts. But the whole point is that this has a blade that snaps in that makes ridges. This is a crinkle cutter. So it's like when you make, you ever seen like big carrots on the platter that have the little ridges in it, or like the stir fry? It is a wider, overall bigger wavelength than the Ruffles. Mandolin actually scares me a little bit. My idea is to slice a flat surface so that I can basically have it hit up against the side. Let me try a little thicker. Alright, so I got a slice. It's pretty even, it's also pretty thick. Let me see if I go faster, if it gets a little bit thinner. Not what I was hoping for. That was Yukon Gold. I got basically 2 semi-usable slices. Let me try. Let me try the russet. Need a sharper blade. Oh, I think that one's not bad. Oh god. My oil got pretty hot. We'll let that cool down. Alright, I think I should just go over to the fryer and start just doing some test batches.
What are you going to do about it, Sheriff? About what? My stolen property.
There ain't much I can do about it.
The oil's pretty hot.
I ain't got the manpower to go after Bob Crawford.
A little bit of salt, and I want to bring it back over.
I'll do. I pay your goddamn wages, me and folks like me.
I'm sorry,
At
Mr.
all.
Lonsdale.
Ooh, also kind of flabby.
There
Chris.
ain't nothing I can do about this. Now without more support and funding.
Wow.
Will you go for me?
Wait,
Thickness,
what?
it's really
Go.
actually not
See
bad.
if you can retrieve my lawful
Hey, look.
property from some goddamn thief.
Ain't nobody knows who took your stuff, mister.
I'm getting some of that caramelized flavor from the browning starches, and I don't want that. I don't want that kind of toasty
by any
quality.
means
I want sort of blank
No,
fried
not
potato.
by any
Overall,
means necessary.
not
Kill
bad.
nobody.
Not so bad
Ain't
for
nobody
me.
convicted of
Fried
nothing.
I was wrong. Get them. Bring them to me just down from Fort Riggs Station. And you'll be handsomely paid.
Please buy only at Old Navy and OldNavy.com.
Potato with salt. I think I'm going to fall back on this article I remember reading on the Series East website a long time ago by Ken C. Lopez, all about this topic, about trying to not get color on considered retina. He's saying that in all of his tests, just rinsing the slices weren't enough to remove all the starches, that
potato cells really hold on to the starch. He boils the slices in vinegar spiked boiling water, then he strains and fries them. So that's what we want to try. And so he's also using fresh potatoes, and I found that those were easier to slice anyway, so I'm happy to stick with those. Still like vinegar. I got one so far. Not bad. You don't need to be here. Go away. Very unclear what's happening from slice to slice, making some work and some not work. It's very translucent. So I'm going to cook them a little bit longer. Hopefully they get crisp all the way through. So I know I should say it. Feeling pretty confident. Doing what I expected. That's the confidence booster when the thing turns out the way I think and hope it's going to turn out. I wasn't timing it, but that was maybe 2 minutes or so in the oil. First of all, they are almost entirely translucent. A little bit weird. They kind of remind me of like shrimp crackers. They just seem like they fried it thinner than the last batch. So it was very effective in terms of preventing color. Very crisp. Because they're so thin, it almost immediately dissolves, and all you kind of taste is you get a lot of potato. It's like eating air. So I think that this method is really effective, but now we have to slice it thicker. But I think it's very productive line of inquiry. And mail tomorrow. The one and only time I think I ever finished in 2 days was Oreos. This would even be 1.5 days. Started yesterday in the afternoon. I'm ready to set a record. So yeah, top rack was 2 days, but that was more just like the end of I gave up. My one question though, I wish Brad were here, but Brad's on vacation. Can I sharpen this blade at all? I'm just concerned that it's tearing up the flesh of the potato as I slice and makes it really hard to get a precise cut. So we have this mandolin with the crinkle cutter blade. Yes, right, yes, exactly, no. Because there's no. So I'm wondering if there is a way to sharpen it. I don't know what that is. Rumble. That's a made-up word. That doesn't sound real. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, but that sounds good. Sounds great. There's a harvest market for yes, today or something. Okay. The word's great. Yeah. Really? But the crinkle cutters are dull, but I am remembering Clunner's Soul Reach the waffle cut fry the sharper. Can I borrow your travels? Okay. They fly the metal. Yeah. Alright. Okay. Thanks, Chris. Who needs Brad? It's nice job with your help. Yeah. Hi, I have a question. Do you sell Dremel rotary tools?
Yeah, we have the Dremel rotary tools.
Great. And do you sell the grinding stone accessories as well?
Yes, we have like the whole kit.
Oh, perfect. Okay, thanks very much. I have a new plan. This is like two plans in case one of them fails. One idea is to do what Chris said. Well, both familiar. One is get the Dremel tool, the rotary tool, to try to sharpen this ourselves. As that seems like not something I would be very good at. I'm gonna hedge our bets and also get that mandolin that Chris was talking about that we go through culinary school, which is kind of a professional model you don't see a lot. So we're gonna run out and get that. That comes with many different flavors, including a little ruffled. We're basically spending more one day than we have the entire performing day combined on these two items. But I think it's a good plan. Amazing timing. That was so fast. Hey, Chris.
This ain't for me.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Right?
Yep. You know. Let's open it up and see.
Piece of shit.
Okay.
A vice.
Here he is. Of course.
Perfect.
Keeping his hands clean as usual.
I think that's it.
What the?
Really?
Hello, Bob.
That's it?
I mean, not the reason for it.
Nice to see you.
Totally.
Put him on the track.
Oh my god.
Come on. Save me.
Ah.
What right do you have?
Hello, Clinton. Hello, Clinton. How have you been since we robbed
Wait,
you?
Chris.
Where's my
Look at
property?
this book.
I don't
Feel
rightly
that
know
and
what
go
you're
next
talking
to it.
about.
That's thinner.
My fine
Yeah.
collection.
Okay, this
The
is really
stuff
not
that
that
you're
hard.
trying to
How much
gone.
pressure do you have to
My
apply?
paintings of scenes in Italy, gone.
I'm not
My
applying
collection
any.
of photographs of fairies, gone.
It's all just a big mistake.
Where are
God,
they?
We
okay.
invested in them together. You owed us money.
I did no such thing. Where are my
I really
papers?
don't like the
Basement of your
noise.
sister's house.
My sister. Goddamn her to
I think this
hell.
noise is horrible.
Here,
This noise.
here's your money.
But Chris, feel this.
Kill these men, will you?
Oh,
In fact, don't
wrong
kill
with
them.
metal. That's like,
Nice
Leave them on the tracks.
Do a bandana.
Thieves!
Now, come on. You're not gonna let some good old boys die because of some Staffordshire china and an argument between a man and his
Alright,
sister.
let's try it.
What do you think
It
about
feels
this?
definitely sharper. So let me rinse this off. Give it a little wash, and then I'm gonna try to put potatoes on it.
God damn!
Not bad.
For a moment I thought
Alright,
you were gonna
these are
let that train
definitely
ride
coming out
right
better
over
than
us.
yesterday. Now I'm getting sort of pretty good to
I ain't gonna
everyone
pretend I
bad.
like you or what you do,
Alright,
but
these are all looking really good.
you wouldn't kill a man in cold blood just on Clinton Arnsdale's say
I
so.
have
So
maybe a
maybe you ain't all bad
dozen
after all.
or a dozen and a half
You got what you came
usable
here for,
slices
didn't you?
here. Before I make
We all
any more,
square
I should
here?
probably
Okay.
I want to
We're
boil
square
and
then.
fry them so I can kind of gauge
Let's go then.
thickness.
Our quarrels with
In
Clinton,
addition to
not
this,
them.
I want to try the other mandolin that just got here, so I can see about. I mean, so I can see about overall sharpness and size of the ridges, because obviously the ridges that I'm making are bigger and wider than the ridges on Ruffles. All right, here are my chips. They are almost translucent. They basically become kind of see-through. And what's good is you can see lots of air bubbles in there. Which means they're very crisp, but I think they're also a bit delicate. I mean, pretty crispy. This is about the same as what I was getting last night after that last test where I boiled them. I kind of want to try the other mandolin just to see if I get ridges like this that are tighter. So we have this other mandolin as the second option, and this, ooh, okay, and another tool. So interesting. So this is, wow. This is like a crinkle cutter knife, which I'm kind of into because I think I could really control the thickness. So this is not, this blade is a little bit more of a zigzag rather than a even wave, but I sort of feel like the ruffles are more of a zigzag. I don't know if I'm expecting as far as results. It's maybe harder than I thought. I think the shape of the ridges is nice, but it is going to be very challenging to cut parallel. I didn't really line it up very well, which is why I have like a accordion. So let me just try a few more. No. Alright, I'm not playing with this anymore. Let's see what this guy looks like. Oh yeah. Look at that cutter. Hello? Like maybe this is what they use to make ruffles. It practically fits on there. Alright. This is the style mandolin that, like as Chris said, I used in culinary school and he used also. It's pretty sharp. A pretty sharp edge. Fun sharpening that thing, but I think we got it. I just want to see how it cuts, how easily it cuts, what kind of thickness I'm getting. The main issue I'm having with this mandolin is I like having that runway. Really make sure I'm applying even pressure before I get to the blade, kind of like luge down to the surface. So and here I don't really have an ability to do that because of this. Maybe I can adjust it a little better. I don't know if that was. Oh my god! Hold on, it's something so dangerous. I took this piece off and wondered to myself, what was this doing there? And realized it was covering up these things. I suppose that was there for a reason. Mandolins are feared in the kitchen, I think, and for good reason. You can really, really do damage with a mandolin. But like anything, it just takes a little bit of practice and common sense. Okay, so I just adjusted it to try to make it a little bit thicker. I think start with a straight cut. Alright, this looks really, really good. The thickness is great of these. They're really even. The ridges look great. I have 3 main variables that I've identified so far. 1, the thickness of the potato slice. 2, the length of time that I boil. And 3, the oil temp. So I want to do a couple of tests where I play around each of those variables and see what yields the best results. And the first test is going to be boiling 2 minutes and then it's 320 oil. And then I'll make adjustments for the further test if I need to. Okay, these are coming out. They're not as translucent as before. They're not quite as opaque as the original. The ridge size and looks great, very spot on. The translucency really comes from the amount of air that's in there, and I think that maybe that's just boiling too much. These taste really good. Maybe a gourmet ruffle is a lighter, more translucent, more dull and crisp. I want to try another test where I boil them for 1 minute. See how that affects the texture overall. Ah! I'll save it. This to me looks more opaque than the previous version. I think it actually gets a tiny bit thicker. And I think that the 1 minute plunge into the boiling water was a good adjustment. And I think 325 is a good temperature because I'm getting a minimal amount of color, but not too much browning. I think the ridges are really good. There's kind of a ring just inside the edge of the chip, and there's kind of the same thing happening here. You can see that. That's a good sign. I think that was a really good test, getting a little bit closer incrementally. I think for the very first time ever, I'm actually changing one variable at a time. I'm going to do the same test, 1 minute blanch into the 325 oil, and I'm hoping that's going to be the sweet spot. Oh, yeah. So actually, these were in the fryer for 3 minutes total. Crispy. Oh, I think these are very successful. Good color, great texture, crisp all the way through. A nice, pretty even golden color. So good. Delicious. Can make more. So at this stage, I'm blanching in batches, so I'm just going to throw in a couple handfuls. But I might trim off that flat side just so that it looks a little bit more regular in terms of shape.
More.
So while I focus on the next step, which is making the powders to flavor them, I want to proceed to the oven that I set to dehydrate to really dry out and make sure they stay really crispy. I'm putting them in a lower temperature so that they don't burn, because we all know what has been done. Doritos. Very upsetting. They get too dark, you think? I checked them 1 minute ago and they were fine. Oh no, I'm not remaking them. This went so well. It had to happen. I'm not going to make the mistake I made before and burn them at the last minute. While the chips are dehydrating, I'm going to focus on the powders so I can create a couple different flavors of chips. So I was thinking that the flavors will be sour cream and onion, plain of course, and then all dressed with
How'd you get on? She got
what
on
such a
just
discovery
fine. You know she
and
did.
very craveable
I
flavor.
know she did. Yeah.
See it in the sky. Just
I'm gonna
smell
start
it
with
in
sour
the
cream onion.
air.
So we have
She
dried
ain't no
chives.
saint, but she's a good one.
We also have powdered sour
Fine
cream.
gal
Very
in a
cool ingredient.
nasty world.
Onion powder.
An American,
The
I
flavor
guess.
good to go. Salt and vinegar is
Oh,
really
the
just
madam picked
vinegar
well.
powder. That's all starts
Portland,
on there.
this
Next
gal will
is
do more
all
than
dressed. So I'm doing a
adventure. With
combination
any
of
luck,
smoked
she'll
paprika
save
and
us all.
paprika.
Oh, there ain't no
Garlic powder.
luck,
Some
Mr.
chili
Jones.
powder. Ground
Just a
mustard.
man's heart.
Pinch of cayenne
Not
for
much
a
else.
tiny bit of
Well,
heat, and also
she's
black
got a
pepper.
fine one.
This flavor is
Good
also
one.
sweet.
Send
So I'm
her
going to
to
add some
help
powdered
the
sugar,
marsh.
finer than white sugar.
Whole
Now I'm
damn
adding a
place
little bit of
going
tomato
to
powder.
shit.
I'm going to add some of
And
my
we need
sour
more
cream
good
onions,
souls
some of
to
the
let
coconut
us
vinegar powder.
lose
My goal with
rent in peace
the all
and
dressing thing is
gal
to
to moon
nail it.
in
I want
safety.
to try to
Maybe.
exactly replicate or get as close as I
but
can to the original because
don't you and the
I just really
madam
don't think that can be improved.
kill the girl with vengeance,
I think
nor
that's good.
kill
Just
her
turkey,
inside with
sprinkling, I
grief.
put just the
Like you
plain
said,
white vinegar
she's no
powder
saint.
in.
Like
Now
I
I have my
always say,
flavors. Sour cream
you
onion,
need to earn
all
some
dressed,
money and
salt, vinegar.
stay
And
somewhat
now I
out of
want to
trouble.
check on the chips. Hopefully they haven't
Go
burnt
see
the
Marshal Davies.
crisp, crisp part.
He's supposed to stop every bastard killing
pretty
innocent
crispy.
folk.
Of course, it's
feel
the
good.
nature of
They're
the
ready to cook
thing
them.
that some
I think leave
souls
the
go
little
bad
sieve,
and
just
bad
them.
souls, some of them go good. But the
Capital
marshal will
One
see
Venture
right
card, you
on
earn
that.
unlimited
The
double
world
miles
can
on
always
every
use
purchase,
more
every
good
day.
souls.
Objection! My
And
credit card
finds
doesn't
it
double miles on
easier to
every
birth
purchase.
the bad
Overruled.
ones.
With the Venture card, it's every purchase. What's in your wallet?
So this is sour cream and onion. And now take salt and vinegar. And now the rest of these will be all dressed. I think I'm done. What else is there to do? Besides taste. I almost feel bad that it was not, that I didn't work harder. It wasn't that hard. It's potato chips. I can feel bad. They look very similar to the original. I'm very proud of them. I'm proud of them, but I would have been more proud if I had worked harder. Kind of like easy come, easy go, you know? But I did make a lot. A record in terms of yield for a gourmet made. I think to make potato chips more complicated than it is a mistake. So I think this is an appropriate. I think I trouble shot this one appropriately and put in the correct amount of effort. The all dressed, there's better. What is your favorite flavor of potato chips? Sour. Okay. Try one of these. Sour cream and onion. This is the ingredient. Potato salt and oil.
Exactly what
All dressed?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
These are sour cream and onion. Do you want to try, this is your favorite flavor?
Yes.
I want you to try that one. Pick that one for you.
I'm gonna go posting. I usually go like daily life.
Yeah. Oh, Dan, you want to smell it? Potato chip. All right, Chris. The crunchy sound is making me feel good. The salt and vinegar.
Make a little mini taco.
Actually, it's all dressed, but it is very barbecue forward. But it's a combination of all the flavors. All I just do is potato. Thank you. Always what I want to hear. What's better? No. I like that. That was a winner. I think out of every single gourmet makes that I've done, this has been the easiest. I guess to put another way, it's been the smallest amount of trial and error. Like right off the bat, I made something reasonably close, and it was just lots of really minute tweaks, and that was it. Oh, I don't want a challenge. Let's do more like this. I was totally fine. I'll be here half the amount of time on the takes. Is it better to not work that hard and not be that satisfied, or to work really hard to be exhausted somewhat more satisfied? I don't know. Maybe there's no way to win on the show. Here's how you make gourmet ruffles. Peel several large russet potatoes and store submerged in a bowl of room temperature water. Set a mandolin with a crinkle cutter blade and adjust the thickness to a couple of millimeters. Shave off a thin lengthwise piece from one side of the potato to make a flat cut side. On bend the potato, press the cut side against the side of the mandolin and rapidly glide the potato across the blade, gliding each time to make even ruffled slices. Store the slices in water and squirt. Working in batches, cook the slices in rapidly boiling water for 1 minute. Transfer to a towel-lined baking sheet and fire. At dry, cut around the edges to round off the flat side. Then fry in 325 degrees Fahrenheit vegetable oil for 3 minutes until golden around the edges and crispy. Transfer to a paper towel-lined tray, generously with kosher salt. Place on a rack and dehydrate. Sour cream and onion flavor. Combine sour cream powder, onion powder, and milled dried chives to taste. Salt and vinegar, good use of snowflake vinegar powder. For all that, combine sweet paprika, smoked paprika, chili powder, ground mustard, cayenne, onion powder, black pepper, tomato powder, powdered white vinegar, powdered sugar, and then sour cream and onion mix to taste. Dust the tips generously on those mix with flavored powder. Those are good. Yep. Next, give me a challenge. Yeah. Oh, challenge! No. Wait, what's the next one? What would they? Oh my god, it's gonna be impossible. Do you want to make them with the crocodile? Yes. Yay! Also, I love. Takis. Takis in my head.
What's that hot?
Can we be here for my intro or no? I haven't even done my intro yet. We just started. And we haven't had lunch.
No, there's no lunches there. 86 lunch. More work, more videos.
Oh no. Hey everyone, I'm Claire. I'm in the VHS kitchen and today I'm making gourmet Takis. I've never actually had Takis. I've heard a lot about them. It seems like a frequently requested gourmet make subject. Kind of seems like a cousin of the Dorito in that it's a tortilla chip with a very intense seasoning on it. And those are rolls. So I'm really curious to get into them and kind of take a look at the construction. Open the bag. I'm really hungry. I haven't had lunch. We can go to Six Flags and save $15. Did you say they're purple? Yeah, that's not purple. Oh wow, these are good. These are real good.
I don't know if I like this flavor so far.
These are good.
Give me a bunch of those things. Might get.
Can't eat many of these.
You kind of want to go back though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they're good.
What other flavors? Wait,
Wait, is that what we're having?
No, the purple ones are Fuego.
Well, let's try the spicy ones. It's not hot.
Is there like plain? Plain is Fuego?
Oh, Fuego is plain? Wait, so what did we just have?
We had crunchy fajita. Oh my goodness.
Wow, these are,
Blowing the bar.
yeah. Oh, look at this one. This is a little bit, like, unfolded. Whoa.
Like these kill human beings.
Why are they so red?
I think you're gonna nail this one.
Yeah. You know why? Because I already made Doritos.
Take it, roll it.
Same chip, roll it, different spice mix.
Make it less
I'll finish today.
exciting from there.
But your support means everything.
Well, I'm here for you. Anytime, you can just call.
You have been here for like 5 episodes. Woo, 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 geez. The acid is all up front, and then you get kind of the chili, and then the heat comes later. These are incredible. They're really red, like unnaturally red. The red is the coating, so red in the middle. I'm not really liable to go buy a bag of chips, but if I were, I would maybe be going for Takis. I don't think I can try this. Why are they blue? Why are they blue? That makes me feel weird. Oh, so this is Takis Wild TM Spicy Buffalo Tortilla Chips. And each one is like a more brilliant color than the last. That's my favorite. It's incredible with here. If I had a bar, I would sit these out because it would make me look at you. I have to stop. I don't want to do this anymore. God, I can't eat anymore Takis. They're so good. They're spicy. Not like crazy. It's very simple. It's a rolled tortilla chip coated in and a very unnatural spice mix. Just the greatest. It's so smelly. That was a big bite for you, Chris.
You really get a very early sweet.
It goes sweet, sour, and then all sorts of other things, and then spicy. Are you okay?
Damn.
No, it's a lot.
Sweet and it's so sour.
So sour.
A little bit of an assault.
Drink acid, just like.
And then it's just fire down below.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just drops down.
Yeah.
It's like overloaded. Like when your dog is like sniffing out the window of the car and you're like,
Yeah.
good neighborhood. And they're just like, oh my god, this thing, that thing.
Chris, in retrospect, this is your worst nightmare. I'm sorry I didn't think about that more. Because we do sour. So his palate is so sensitive. So it's sure they're different in general, but it seems like they're between 6.5 and 7 centimeters. In terms of the thickness of the chip, I would say it's very, very thin. It seems thick because there's so many layers. The chip is 3 millimeters thick. It's not a tight, it's not a very big spiral. It's not like there's many concentric rows. I like to try to hydrate and soften them so I can roll it out and see what the original shape of the chip is before it's rolled. And I don't need it to completely stay in one piece. I just need it to come apart enough that I can get a general sense of the shape. Oh no. This has really helped me a lot. This is as whole and unrolled Taki as I could manage. One thing though that I noticed is that if you break apart a Taki, the inside of the roll has the powder coating on it. So that tells me that it's flat first, coated in the powder, then rolled, then possibly fried again, or somehow crisped again, so that it stays that it maintains such shape. Time for my favorite part, reading the ingredients. Pouring off the flour, processed lime, vegetable oil, palm and or soybean and or canola oil, and or rice bran oil, seasoning, brackets, salt, maltodextrin, citric acid, sugar, monosodium glutamate, hydrolyzed soy protein, onion powder, yeast extract, artificial color, red, hold on, did I miss the clothes bracket? Nope. Red 40, flake, yellow stick, close for the natural and artificial flavors, sodium bicarbonate, soybean oil, chili pepper, chili, disodium inosine, disodium guanylate, TBHQ, antioxidant, close bracket. Are all friends TBHQ? Still forgot what that is. What is it again? We still don't know. That's what I thought it was. The corn chip with seasoning on it. But seasoning encompasses like 15 different things. And now I probably want to go over to the computer so I can do some more research. I love this. Do you know what it takes to handle the intensity of Taki's rolled tortilla chips? Are you able to stand a crunchy bite of our full-on flavor? The answer is no.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen this. It's too loud. It's pretty much like this the whole time, right? Okay, cool. 17 million views. That's a lot of views. Good for those kids. Taki Factory. Alright, there's not anything on the internet about how Takis are actually made. Given the work I already did on the chip for Doritos, I think the primary challenge here will be forming them, getting them to stay, and making sure that they're crisp all the way through, and then the actual chip itself and the flavor coating will be a little easier. Also, I said challenge, like real good recipe. I keep little notes about each recipe before I make the Doritos. So here it has a quick summary of the dough. It's 100 grams of white masa harina, 50 grams of water, 5 grams of oil, 2 grams of salt, 2 grams of baking powder. So masa harina is a kind of corn flour made from kernels that are nixtamalized, and this is what corn tortillas are made out of. I want to let this rest for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and I'm trying to think if I need to make the outside coating before I even start the frying test, because that's part of the process. So let me see if I can pull together a few ingredients for that. What if I do? What if I nail it? 4 18. Alright, so I took the bag with me, onion powder, MSG, Cigarettes and gas over there. Chili peppers we have over there. Alright. We're good.
I need a vermouth.
You want me to get you a vermouth?
I want a vermouth and salami.
Oh, I don't know about salami. Is there vermouth in there?
I'm gonna make it.
I'll make you one. Do you like a little cube of ice?
One.
And a little wedge or something?
No way.
It's a really huge problem. Gabby, you're gonna look very chic with your vermouth.
It's my birthday.
Soon. You're welcome. Enjoy. Having a very civilized 4:30 kind of.
I'm like my new dad. I'm
Yeah.
reading Alexandra Beck.
Live your life.
Best job ever. Hashtag I love my job. Thank you. Salud.
You're welcome. Salud.
Oh my god. Thanks, Claire.
You're welcome. Wait, where were the spices that I was holding? Oh, here they are. So do you need a vermouth also? Gabby's all worked so hard. They deserve a break.
Oh my gosh.
Cheers.
Claire, thank you, Claire.
You're welcome. Oh, I forgot my spices. I forgot. I'm gonna make this seasoning mix the way I basically made all seasoning mixes in gourmet mix, which is to taste. And just kind of adding small amounts of everything until I get kind of the right balance. And I'm going to be making a particularly small amount because it's kind of just a preliminary test. And now I think 2 parts Korean red pepper. It's really bright red, so I like that it's bringing a lot of color. Good. It needs a lot more salt. You can use a lot more chili. Now we're getting somewhere. Some of the particles of the ingredients were a little big, so I'm going to mill it. Watch out. It'll be vaporized. I think it's going to pass it. Got kind of orange. But, oh well. Test. Over here, I'll look for the coconut size cutter. Say oval. That is really downside cutters. No worries. Alright, we got diamonds. We call this. Ooh! I'm trying to bend this cutter. This is the shape I've made. It's not great. It's not really even around, but I think it'll be good enough for this test. So this dough has been resting for at least 20 minutes or so. And I think I'm just going to start pressing pieces of dough. And now with the cutter, I worry a little bit about how crumbly it is. Set my pot over here. And now I need to take it out of the oil before it starts to set, which might be like now. Quick coating. I feel like it's already drying out. Okay, well, it didn't work. It got too dry. That's because the dough is too dry. And it's not thick enough. So I think what I need to do is fry it hotter and faster. I think I need a wetter dough so that it doesn't dry out too quickly. It would really be helpful if they showed inside the Taki Factory. I'm not sure how this is done. I'm going to basically crumble it back into the bowl and add a little water and then knead it again. I'm going to do that same kind of test. I'm a little irritated at those sharp corners. Not broke. I waited too long, the surface dried out too much in the fryer, so when I tried to roll it, it broke. I think maybe even hotter, because basically what I want to do is activate the baking powder for heat in the fryer really quickly while it's still pliable. Well, it cracked. Let's go home. This did not work. I've learned a valuable lesson, which is that this is not how takis are made. I'm pretty sure. I think one of the problems is that the muscle farina doesn't have a lot of elasticity. It's like if I were to pull and stretch and just tear, it's great. I'm gonna have to think about this tonight because that was harder than I thought it would be. I went home and I did the thing I normally do, which is I tend to go think about it and then I forget, and then I come back the next morning without a plan. But since I've been here this morning, I had an idea, which is basically to back up and use a traditional method of making tortilla chips, which is to basically just make tortillas, griddle them, and then roll them up, because obviously cooked tortillas are friable, and fry them. And I also want to make a more hydrated dough than I made yesterday. Alright, that was like less than 30 seconds. So I'm not able to roll this without it breaking. I think I need more moisture and I have to roll it thinner. I want to get it a bit thinner than I had it before. You see this one is already starting to bubble. Well, it's sticking. Well, that was annoying. Okay, I'm trying again. I'm just going to very lightly brush the surface with a little bit of oil. Alright. I think what I want to try to use is a skewer to help me basically roll it. This one, by the way, is tearing. But yeah, that didn't work. Hi, Brad. Are you there? Yeah, I need a little help. I like your jacket. Well, okay. Yeah, I need a little tortilla help. With what? All I can do is give you the name of my orthopedist. Chris has gone there. Carla has gone to him. He's really? Bed. Yeah. Right over there. Okay,
what
so.
What seems to be the situation?
I can't get them to roll
Corn tortillas.
so tightly. Yeah. Corn.
What's your base? You're using
A masa dough.
Yeah.
Masa, water, oil, salt. That's it.
I say just hit the books. A little research, how do you make a corn tortilla a little stretchier. I wish I was more helpful, but my brain's just built so hard. What are you doing for the...
I made a quick version yesterday.
You need some dehydrated kimchi powder? I got it.
Yeah, you got some of that. Can I also maybe, can I use some of your miso powder?
Yeah. Put some salt on there and some like
food
coloring.
Ooh, beet coloring. That's a good idea. We maybe have some powdered beet here.
I don't think you want miso. It's kind of cheap.
No, that's
Maybe
good.
the
No,
darker
that's
one.
good. That's good.
Hold on. That one's kind of like Parmesan-y. This one's more like cheddar-y.
Ooh, this smells so good.
That one.
No, I think this
Keep
one.
that one a full.
I'm gonna find some beet powder. All right, I have to wait for that. What do you think is the best fat for tortilla? I feel like they should use oil because. Yeah. I feel like they should use oil because.
You're an imbecile.
A what?
An idiot.
I'm sorry. He said he wouldn't run away.
Shut up.
But
Please, but just shut up.
what? An idiot.
They're gonna fire me.
He said he wouldn't run
Oh,
away.
you get to keep your job, but they'll fire me, and they've got every right to fire me, because I'm the idiot who employed you. Oh, look, guests. Are you a moron, partner? Huh? Well, you can't be any worse than us, because this idiot right here, just let the most notorious con man in the whole goddamn state walk clean out of a cell, clean out, and not a shot fired. Now, if you get him back for us, we'll happily pay you. How about that? Good. Good. Now, see, what I figure is he's headed on down to Pike's Basin, so you go down the canyon and you get him, and I'm gonna beat this poor dumb bastard with a stick, and I'll try and join you on the other side. Come on.
about it. Oh my got money. I've got a lot of money. And I'll pay. I'll pay a lot. Hey, here's an idea. Take my hat. Put it on the dead guy over there. You take him in, as me, I go free, and you get rich. Oh, and I won't kill anybody else. I swear. I'm reformed. I'm a changed man. Please, please, I'm begging you, set me free. Have a heart. Ah! Fools!
Fine. Take me in then. You're too dumb to know a good deal when you hear one. What is it, huh? You stupid? Are you too good to take my money? You try and be a saint then, and see how long it lasts. You'll get greedy or you'll get careless. They always do. And if you don't, I hope someone comes along and locks you up for doing nothing. I didn't even escape from that jail. I was released by the deputy. After I set him right on some things, I'm an unfortunate victim of circumstance. Oh, sweet. I'm a victim of some self-righteous idiots, too. It's not particularly fair. Hey there. Let me go. So you got him? Good. Real good.
Look.
Put him up on my horse there.
I didn't do
There's
nothing.
the money I promised you. It's nice seeing you again, buddy.
Name your price.
It's gonna be even nicer.
I've got money.
Watching you die.
I've got a lot of money. Just name your price and I'll make you rich.
Oh, do be quiet. Come on, boy. See you later.
Welcome, friend. All right. Bye, then.
Keep some distance.